All right, let's take a quick snapshot of the Cardano ecosystem. There's been a ton of activity just kind of bubbling under the surface lately. So today, we're going to break down some of the key signals of momentum, everything from governance to global expansion, and really see what it tells us about the health of the entire network.
It's a great question, isn't it? Because it's about so much more than just price charts. You need real decentralization, you need active builders, you need real-world adoption, and you need a clear way to fund the future. So over the next few minutes, we're going to use Cardano as a case study to see what those signs of a healthy, thriving ecosystem really look like in practice.
So, first things first, the foundation. For any blockchain to have a real shot at long-term success, it has to be genuinely decentralized. That means it's got to move beyond the control of its original creators. And on that front, well, Cardano just hit a massive milestone.
Now, this statement right here, it packs a serious punch. The CC it's talking about is the Constitutional Committee. You can think of them as the people who oversee the entire ecosystem's rulebook. So when you hear that no founding entity is a member, that signifies a genuine handover of power. It's the creators passing the torch to the community. And what this means is that governance is now formally in the hands of elected community members. It's not the original organizations that built the chain calling the shots anymore. This is a huge, foundational shift that creates a much more resilient base for all the development we're about to dive into.
Okay, so with that solid foundation in place, let's look at the people actually building on it. See, a healthy ecosystem, it needs two kinds of builders. First, you've got your steady operators, the ones who are consistently shipping code and delivering value, day in and day out. Take this number, for example. It comes from a project called Bonsai Masters. They set this really ambitious goal of 10% monthly growth. And they didn't just meet it, they absolutely shattered it, exceeding their target by more than 4 times. That's a super clear signal of a project finding its groove and really connecting with users in a measurable way. And they are definitely not alone. Flow Lending is another fantastic example of a team that just keeps on building. They recently enabled their token as collateral for borrowing ADA, which is, a crucial feature for any DeFi lending platform. But they aren't stopping there. Their public roadmap shows this clear pipeline of value for their users. We're talking better info pages, liquidation tools, upgraded staking, even one-click leverage. This is the engine room of an ecosystem, right? Teams just methodically shipping new utility. But steady progress is only half the story.
A truly dynamic ecosystem also needs the other type of builder, the ones taking those big, ambitious, high-risk swings. The ones who are aiming for the fences.
Come on, how can you not love the raw honesty of this quote from the Trifecta project? This is the unfiltered voice of a startup. It just perfectly captures that all-or-nothing entrepreneurial spirit that drives massive innovation. They know the risks are huge, but they're going for it anyway.
And they are swinging big. While the product itself is still under wraps, they've said their target market is over 1 billion people. This is the kind of moonshot that, if it lands, could totally change the game. And that combination of steady building and these huge swings, that's exactly what you want to see.
So we have a decentralized foundation, and we've got builders taking different approaches. Now let's kind of zoom out and see how this ecosystem is starting to connect with the rest of the world on a really massive scale.
And when I say massive, I absolutely mean it. World Mobile, one of the flagship real-world projects on Cardano, just dropped some news that is, well, it's pretty staggering. Just look at these numbers. The World Mobile chain now has 2.2 million daily active users. Let that sink in for a second. That makes it the 4th largest blockchain in the entire industry by that metric. This isn't some theoretical adoption. This is real-world utility at scale happening right now. And that real-world adoption, it's getting noticed. The project's token just secured its first listing on a major US exchange, Kraken. This is such a critical step for any global project. It opens the door to new liquidity and makes it accessible to a much broader audience. But they're not just expanding into traditional finance. No, they're expanding across blockchains. Through a new partnership, World Mobile is now integrating with Solana's thriving DePIN, or decentralized physical infrastructure ecosystem. This just shows the goal isn't competition, it's collaboration, strengthening the entire mission of decentralized connectivity across different chains. Okay, so we've seen governance mature, we've seen builders building, And we've seen projects reaching a global scale. But how does this momentum keep going? Well, the final piece of a thriving ecosystem is a robust way to fund its own future. And that brings us to this number right here, 5 million ADA. Snek, a really prominent community project, has submitted a proposal to the Cardano Treasury for a loan of this size. This is a perfect example of the ecosystem using its own resources to fuel its next big phase of growth. And the strategy here is crystal clear. Use the ecosystem's own treasury to get a community-born project onto major global exchanges. It's a strategic investment in liquidity and reach that could end up paying dividends for the entire Cardano network. But what really elevates this proposal is the sheer weight of its advisors. I mean, we're talking about the former CEO of Kraken and the heads of the Cardano Foundation and Emergo. This level of oversight signals that it's not just some community request, but a serious business plan. It really shows a maturation of how the whole ecosystem is thinking about funding and growth. So let's bring it all together. We've seen governance truly decentralized. We've seen builders delivering steady value and taking these ambitious swings. We've seen real-world adoption hit a massive scale and even bridge to other ecosystems. And we've seen a mature plan to fund the next wave of growth. It really leaves us with one final question to think about. Is this the sign that Cardano's long season of quiet building is officially coming to an end?